It's a privilege to join with you, Tom, and with Director Barney Malikian, and with Assistant Attorney General Lori Robinson. Where are you, Lori? There she is, Lori Robinson.
She's the tall one.
Yeah, she's the tall one over there. And so many colleagues and critical partners on the first day of what I know will be a very productive, informative, and yes, very hot week here in Washington, D.C. I want to thank you all for being here. Now, it's good to be among so many old friends and some of our nation's most active, innovative, and dedicated law enforcement officers. I especially want to thank the COPS Office for the great work that they've done to bring such a wide array of leaders and experts together for this conference and to develop a really comprehensive, cutting-edge agenda. Now, as many of you know, under Barney's leadership, the COPS Office has really never been stronger. As he mentioned this morning, this office was expected to be a short-term initiative, but it quickly proved its worth. And today, it really stands as a model of success. In their work with agencies and police departments nationwide, the COPS Office has driven vital efforts to improve public safety strategies and law enforcement operations. This collaboration has led to historic reductions in crime, and helped to secure and empower communities really across the country. My personal involvement with COPS stretches back to its initial days in 1994, when I served as the U.S. Attorney here in Washington, D.C. It was a time of significant and unprecedented public safety threats. The challenges of the day demanded a new approach in policing strategies and a new focus on inviting community stakeholders into the work of fighting crime, building trust between officers and local residents, and improving public confidence in the efficacy of law enforcement and the integrity of our criminal justice system. Now, throughout the 90s, I saw firsthand how by raising awareness about the value of community policing, by making targeted investments, especially in research and technology, by providing a forum for information sharing, and by bringing officers and community members together, the COPS Office helped to enhance law enforcement activities and, even in the face of great odds, to improve public safety. And I think that's something you have to remember. Public safety has been improved. Now, during my tenure as Attorney General, I've been impressed and inspired by its work once again. Over the last 2 years, the COPS Office has advanced the Justice Department's mission to be smart as well as tough on crime. And its initiatives and investments are helping chiefs and sheriffs in every region of the country navigate extraordinary financial challenges. I am proud of this work, and every officer in this room should be proud of what you and your colleagues have achieved in recent years. You have reaffirmed the power of community engagement in strengthening public safety, and because of your efforts, national crime trends are heading in the right direction. In our inner cities, in rural areas, and in tribal communities as well, neighborhoods have been transformed, and countless lives have been improved, and indeed have been saved. Now, I know it hasn't been easy. Throughout my career, I've been privileged to work closely with law enforcement officers. I'm also the brother of a retired Port Authority police officer. And so I recognize and I appreciate the risks that you take and the responsibilities that you shoulder each and every day. I also realize that your jobs have never been more difficult or more demanding, but your work is more important than ever before. Your service and your sacrifices are making our country not only safer, but stronger. And your partnership is allowing the Department of Justice to fulfill its most essential responsibility, and that is protecting the American people. And when I became Attorney General, that's precisely what I pledged to do. But I can't keep this promise without you. And that's why today I'm not only here to say thank you and to celebrate all that we have achieved together, I'm also here to ask for your continued help, and above all, to reaffirm the Justice Department's ongoing commitment, as well as my own personal commitment to supporting your work. Now, make no mistake, this is a defining moment for our country and for America's law enforcement community. There are persistent problems that must be fixed. There are historic challenges that must be faced. And there are urgent threats that must be overcome. Our responsibilities are profound, and the course that we chart in fulfilling them will shape our nation for years to come. Like many of you, I believe that if we are going to succeed, if we are going to extend the tradition of excellence that has always defined our nation's law enforcement community, and if we are going to fulfill our obligations to the people we serve, then it is time, just as it was time nearly 2 decades ago when the COPS Office first opened its doors, to update policing strategies and operations. No matter where you serve, we realize that you are struggling to fulfill your growing obligations and to overcome today's financial constraints. This is the reality that we have to confront. And it demands that we carefully assess and work to enhance the current model for how your services are delivered. Now, as we look towards the future and at the goals we hope to achieve together, it's clear that we must begin and we must commit to identifying ways to improve the efficiency and the effectiveness of police operations nationwide. But the question is, how do we do this? How can overburdened departments and overwhelmed officers accomplish more with less? How can budgets be squeezed any further? How can we avoid job cuts? How can we ask any more of those already struggling to keep our communities safe and secure? How can we ask them to do more? As Director Melekian discussed this morning, there are several key ways to consider, and there are examples to learn from. First and foremost, we can look at the ways many departments are successfully integrating and utilizing more technology in their work. This may allow for greater information sharing and enhance our ability to identify and to target crime hotspots. Second, we should examine the potential advantages of incorporating more civilian personnel and volunteers into law enforcement activities, a step that in some departments is saving resources and providing sworn officers with much-needed flexibility. Third, we can look for ways to improve how non-emergency calls are responded to, a strategy that could take significant pressure off many officers and many department budgets. And finally, we can consider ways to regionalize certain core services and help departments and agencies work together to share expertise, to avoid unnecessary duplication, and to maximize limited resources. For some of the departments that have applied these strategies, the cost savings are clear, and from what we're already seeing, the results are too. By examining and in some cases updated police strategies, I'm confident that we will be able to respond to today's fiscal challenges and meet our community safety goals and responsibilities. Now, of course, like all good police work, this can't be done in isolation. Refocusing and refining your operations must be done in partnership. And I want you to know that the COPS office and the entire Justice Department is eager to do everything within our power to assist and to support you. Now, in addition to your success, I also want to mention that we are, and we will continue to be, committed to your safety. Since the beginning of this year, our nation has mourned the loss of 112 officers. Law enforcement fatalities are now 12% higher than this time last year, and gunfire-related deaths have increased by nearly 30%. This is unacceptable. Nationwide, line-of-duty officer deaths are approaching the highest rates we've seen in 2 decades. This is a devastating, and as I said, unacceptable trend. And each of these deaths is a tragic reminder of the threats that law enforcement officers face each day, and the fact that too many guns have fallen into the hands of those who are not legally permitted to possess them. Now, let me assure you that the Justice Department is determined, and I am determined, to turn back this rising tide, to meet increased violence with renewed vigilance, and to do everything within our power and use every tool at our disposal to keep you and your colleagues safe. That is a promise, one that the Justice Department is backing up with new initiatives like the Officer Safety Working Group, which I'm proud to report met for the first time 2 weeks ago. We're also standing behind this commitment with significant strategic investments to numerous officer safety programs, including our Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program, which is coordinated by the Bureau of Justice Assistance, as well as the Valor Initiative that we launched last fall. Through Valor and related efforts, we are supporting much-needed research and analysis of violent encounters, as well as officer deaths and injuries. Now, this information will be used to provide law enforcement with the latest information and the most effective tools and training to respond to a range of threats, including ambush-style assaults. Valor also includes an award of $800,000 that has been allocated to develop training and technical assistance programs and resources like the Officer Safety Toolkits, which we released this year, to help officers learn how to anticipate and how to survive violent encounters. We've also made significant investments to help launch the Center for the Prevention of Violence Against the Police, to expand the department's smart policing program, and to provide additional support for the families of law enforcement officers, especially in times of tragedy. Now, while I believe these investments are important steps forward, I also know that addressing the challenges that you face requires more, much more, than simply moving money out the door. And that's why the department is also focused on improving information sharing with and among our law enforcement partners at every level. And the cornerstone of this work has been the Law Enforcement National Data Exchange, what we call NDEX. This online system arms officers with critical, real-time information about suspects, and I know that you'll be hearing more about that this week. But I want to mention that the department is dedicated not only to building even more support of NDEX, as well as the nationwide Suspicious Activity Reporting Initiative known as NSI, we're working hard to help more of you connect to it. We're also focused on helping you respond to emergencies more effectively. Now, let me assure you, we're continuing our work also on the D block, and I will personally continue to advocate for meaningful, affordable access to radio spectrum when and where you need it. I'll also keep working to ensure that the COPS funding is included in the President's proposed budget and that it will be protected. Now, we know how much you need and deserve these investments. And we will not let up in our fight to make sure that you have the resources necessary to do your jobs and to fulfill your duties. Like everyone here today, I realize that we have a great deal of work before us and more obstacles than we would like to see. But as I look around this room, I can't help but feel optimistic. In examining the history of community policing in this country, it's clear that if we commit ourselves to it, positive change is possible. Improbable and once unimaginable advancements are possible. And even the largest and most persistent obstacles can be overcome. So this week, as you forge and strengthen relationships, as you learn new skills, and as you share experiences and expertise, I hope you will also reaffirm your commitment to leading your profession and our nation forward. As you do, I'm confident that your work will continue to help reduce violent crime and to build safe, vibrant, and productive communities. And I'm certain that, just as it has for the last 17 years, the COPS office will be at your side, helping to call forth and to bring out the very best in American law enforcement. So once again, I want to thank you all for your service, for your courage, and also for your dedication. I look forward to what we can and what we will accomplish in the days ahead, and I'm proud to count each one of you as colleagues and as trusted partners. Thank you very much.